Hello, welcome to MyStartup TV. I'm Major Sunil Shetty. This week on Thought Leader Show, we are looking into the challenges of education, employment, and entrepreneurship for rural youth. In India, the employable youth are about 378 million. Of that, about 252 million are in rural India. And of this number, about 51% are educated graduates but unemployed. Now, one of the reasons for this is obviously for lack of skilling, the right skill that they need to be effectively employed. Now, there is hope for them as many organizations, social organizations, are coming up to bridge this gap, skill rural talent or rural youth into a skilled workforce. One such organization is RuralShores. And I have today with me, my guest is Tarun Singhal, who's the Group CEO of RuralShores. Tarunji, welcome to the show.
Namaskar, good evening and good morning to the people who have joined from different parts of the world.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar to you as well. So,
Tarun,
Tarun,
I want you to, before we get into the into the podcast, if you can just paint the picture of what is the challenge currently. How grave is the situation when it comes to rural youth, when it comes to employment, entrepreneurship, or even finding the basic jobs.
Major Shetty, first of all, thank you for inviting me and providing me with this opportunity to share some of our precious experiences with you. And you and I were chatting earlier today, so probably in response to your question, I'll also give a little bit introduce about myself and the background. And let me start by saying that बड़े बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं पर असली कहानी तो गांव से शुरू होती है so for those who would have watched the movie दिल वाले दुल्हनिया ले जाएंगे, this is inspired from there. And for those who doesn't understand Hindi, in big cities small things like these happen all the time, but the real story begins in the rural world. And an American poet, Maya Angelou, famously said, people will forget what you said, but people will forget what you did. And people will never forget how you made them feel. So my life's journey is also about making connections with people, hearing their stories and learning from their experiences. And of course, charting my own growth story. Having led over 3 decades of global experiences, I've led India growth for global giants, helping launch new services, whether it is marketing as a service or AI as a service, and scaled capability centers for global firms. Now, along the way, a lot of challenges have happened. We have overcome the same. Sometimes we connected with the Living Bridge global ecosystem, whether it is NASCOM, Business France, British, French, Belgian, European business groups. And yes, across the whole forte, chance to meet everyone from the Dalai Lama to Big B to the President of India to Anil Kapoor to Virat Kohli. Global celebrities and leaders from where you learn a lot and you make them advocates. For example, Sunil Gavaskar is a big advocate of the rural ecosystem, how to enhance that. So at heart, I'm a self-startup who believes in hustle, trust, and long-term relationships with people and with purpose. Coming to the rural shores, and as you asked, why the mission resonates, Major Saab. So, connecting with the startup ecosystem with rural empowerment and impact, I would like you to consider a very small acronym RISE, RISE. To make it simple for all of you, R is for rural, I is for innovation, and S is for startup, and E is for ecosystem. For us at Rural Shores, RISE is unlocking rural innovation in the startup ecosystem. Each pillar of our focus can align with a letter. R, rural transformation and its importance in India's growth story. I, innovation driven by rural entrepreneurship and using local resources. S, startup synergies, how ventures like Rural Shores bridge urban-rural divides. And E, ecosystem building, partnerships, technology, and impact measurement. So to summarize, this acronym will create a memorable structure for all of you and reinforces our message of progress and inclusion through startups in rural India. Now, about myself, I'm super excited to join Rural Shores at its vital growth stage. Teams are geared up to revolutionize rural digital operations. In fact, we are world's largest rural digital operations company today, transforming to offer AI-enabled, ESG supported, data driven services. This is empowering rural India, aligning with Viksit Bharat's global vision of countryside nationwide. Uh, with agentic AI, we are poised to transform how work gets done in complex, underserved environments, employing the amazing talent of rural India. Our north of 3,000 plus colleagues across 14 centers in 9 states in India, and with our multilingual skills, they are playing a pivotal role in shaping our next phase of expansion to accelerate Rural Shores and Rural Shores Skills Academy, positioned to the forefront of tech and talent innovation. So, as Major Saab, this is just my second week, and having met with the colleagues here at Rural Shores, I feel enthused and energized and charged to lead Rural Shores integrated business at this pivotal moment where technology, impact, and inclusive growth intersect. And we are able to all inspire everyone to join a purpose-led organization, creating real opportunities for real youth while delivering value to our global clients. And this is a strong foundation, and this scaling new heights, creating value and advancing our contribution towards Viksit Bharat. So we have an essential role to play in making businesses secure, affordable, and reliable for our customers and communities. We are co-creating a future that's inclusive, innovative, and impactful. So I'll just take a pause here. I can continue to go on, but I'll pass it back to you, Major. Major, you briefly touched upon this topic that in India, the majority of the working population resides in rural areas. And over 70% of the country's workforce is living in the rural areas. So in the keywords of our board member, Mr. Murli Volaganti, he says that this moment is not just a transition, it is a launch pad. To date, we have built strength. Now, together, we will build the future. So we as Rural Shores are a social enterprise delivering employment opportunities for rural youth. We deliver innovative, scalable, value-added solutions to the clients. And this is done by combining impact-driven, tech-enabled, AI-powered IT and IT-enabled services, outsourcing, and managing sure that the whole ecosystem is looked after. Now, if you combine it with the Indian startup ecosystem and how we are helping in what you just asked, so I would like to bring it to your notice that innovation has spread beyond metro cities to smaller towns and rural areas. And there's a significant rise of tier 2 and tier 3 startup hubs, growing talent outside metros. So this is helping on mitigating the gaps, which is inclusion, access to skilled workforce, and infrastructure. Now, this leads to our purpose-led innovation. So startups aren't just about unicorns. They're about solving real problems. And that starts in rural India. So I would encourage the startups to focus on purpose-led innovation. So for us, the key sectors driving this transformation are e-commerce, fintech, edtech, healthtech, agritech, and tech-enabled services, amongst many. So I can give you a brief example amongst many on agritech. So we work with rural farming sector offering some of the below services, for example, farmer help desk, which is inbound services solving for queries related to weather, fertilizer applications, seed treatment, or outbound campaigns, which is introducing new products, measuring farmer satisfaction, post-product application, or back office, which is cleansing of data and management, demographic collection and correction. Then also drone services, so which includes outbound calling to the farmers to introduce fertilizer and pesticide application methods and helping in booking slots for drone services. And last but not the least, tractor services. Tractor booking on rental basis, generating tractor leads and passing the same back to the dealers. Now, adding on to it, what is also very important is in our mission is diversity and inclusion. These are no longer just the buzzwords, Major, as you would know, they're driving real change. So over 45% of Indian startups today are women-led, a powerful testament to the evolving landscape of entrepreneurship in India. There's also a growing focus on social impact and sustainability as core business imperatives. So at Rural Shows, we are not very different. We proudly align with this vision. Women power is at the heart of everything we do, and we are very proud of it. From our grassroots operations to delivering high quality services for global clients. Diversity isn't just a metric for us, it's an engine for innovation, resilience, and impact. So over to you, Major.
So, as
My
my
startup
start,
TV, when our media team travels, even when we step out about 50, 70 kilometers outside Hyderabad, or even for the matter when we are traveling, what we noticed is definitely there is a clear lack of infrastructure in villages or in tier 2 or tier 3 cities. Let's say Hyderabad, Bangalore, when you look at the startup ecosystem, they're far more, they're far better than any other, even major cities. So, what you as an organization, as Rural Shore, are you doing? I mean, are you setting up physical infrastructure that works with the rural youth for making them entrepreneurs, giving them training in innovation, or helping them with in their startup journey, or training them, skilling them to become employable youth? How are you doing this? I mean, are you setting up physical infrastructure, or is it a one-on-one session that you do them in cities? Can you help us understand how does Rural Shore actually work with youth?
What you're basically asking is challenges and opportunities in the startups. So startups in India, especially those working in rural context, face a unique set of challenges. Now, whether it is funding constraints, I mean, because I know in the people listening here, a lot of startups and they want to hear this, even though they would know. But only about 10% of total venture capital reaches rural focused startups, making access to capital a major hurdle. You talk about regulatory complexities, compliance processes, and policy navigation can be overwhelming for first time entrepreneurs, especially in non urban areas. You spoke about skill gaps. Nearly 47% of Indian graduates, Major, are not employable in the knowledge economy. If you look at India Skills Report of 2024, it's creating a gap between available talent and startup needs. You spoke about infrastructure deficits. Yes, rural areas still face issues related to unreliable electricity, low internet penetration in some pockets, and poor logistic support. And last but not the least, high failure rates. As per various studies, up to 90% of Indian startups fail within the first 5 years, largely due to execution and market mismatch. But having said all of it, Rural Shows has been a successful startup in the rural, by the rural, for the rural. So opportunities are equally powerful. Now, we take jobs where people are. So if you look at the model, it's easier for people around the neighborhood to come and work and be proud without staying away from the family. Now, demographic advantage. With over 65% of India's population below the age of 35, there is large aspiring and tech-savvy workforce in rural and semi-urban regions. Talking about digital India impact, affordable Smartphones and data have driven rural internet penetration to close to 37%, unlocking new digital-first business models. Talking about
Uh,
government support, programs like Startup India, Atal Innovation Mission, PMG Disha, and Digital India are actively nurturing the rural entrepreneurship ecosystem. There are untapped markets. Rural India accounts for more than 50% of FMCG and mobile phone sales, an indicator of growing consumer power and business potential. So, for rural focused startups, the path isn't easy like any other startup anywhere, including Rural Shores, but it's high impact and future forward. So, with the right ecosystem enablers, rural India could be the next frontier of inclusive innovation. Now, how rural shores help in this mission? So we assimilate rural India into the knowledge economy by setting up digital operation and transformation centers in villages, creating sustainable jobs for the rural youth and reducing migration to the cities. We bring digital work, genai, cybersecurity, and digital operations to rural India. We as Rural Shores are a purpose driven social enterprise with a startup DNA, empowering women, youth, and communities through tech enabled livelihoods. And our unique differentiators are scalability, quality, and impact. To give you an example of one of our experience in field operations, we have trained over 25,000 women under one of the program in last few years. So our innovative model and social impact have also been featured by some of the world's most prestigious academic and research institutions, including Harvard Business School, Said Business School, University of Oxford, Illinois Institute of Technology, Ross School of Business, HEC Paris, IIM Bangalore, Shri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, and so on. And we have been continuously decorated with a lot of credentials and awards. For example, Amazon Mark Tank for the best innovation idea, IAOP for Global Impact Sourcing Award, Aegis Graham Bell for Skill India category for Rural Call Center, and so on. Now, this global recognition underscores what we as Rural Shores are committed to: inclusive innovation, rural transformation, and sustainable business excellence. You spoke about training. Now, there is something very interesting I would want to talk about here. Rural Shores Skills Academy, which we call it as RSA, is a vital pillar in the thought leadership narrative. It directly strengthens the E in RISE, which is employment with dignity, and positions Rural Shores as a full stack enable engine for the rural. So indeed, RSA is empowering through skills. We have trained and skilled over 100,000 plus youth over last 1.5 decades, providing employment, indirect jobs, and impacting their families by number one, mission-driven skilling. So RSA was set up to bridge the skills gap between the rural youth and digital employment. The clear focus is on 21st century skills, which is digital literacy, GenAI fundamentals, customer services, data handling, cybersecurity, hygiene, and many more. Second is demand-led generating model. RSA aligns its curriculum to the real-world needs of clients and startups. Skilling is co-created with industry experts to ensure job readiness from day one. We have number three, inclusion at the core. So over 60% of trained candidates are women, many of them first generation earners. Training often delivered in local languages with cultural sensitive methods. Number four, enabling startups at scale. So startups don't have time or resources to train fresh teams. Here comes RSA, which ensures plug and play talent from rural India. Then we have micro centers that can be scaled quickly with RSA trained talent, giving startups an agile, cost effective backend. Last but not the least, number five, recognize partnerships. So at RSA, we have worked with bodies like UNICEF, UVA, NSDC, and others. We are certified, benchmark, and aligned with national skilling center standards, I would say. Uh, I would not shy away from saying that what powers Rural Shore's ability to deliver high quality digital operations from villages is our secret weapon, the Rural Shores Skills Academy. It is not just a skilling arm, it is a launchpad for rural youth to enter the digital economy with confidence and dignity. Back to you, Major.
Well, that's a lot
Work
of
that
work
you're
that.
doing there. Viewers, we are in conversation with Tarun Singhal, who's the Group CEO of Rural Shore, an organization which is working with or working for bridging the gap of bringing rural youth, giving them skills and talents so they can be entrepreneurs, they can find suitable employment. So Tarunji, personally for you, I know you've been in the organization for about 2 months now or 2 weeks now. How has been the journey for you?
As I mentioned to you earlier, also the journey is very, very exciting. I mean, it's from working at the intersection of impact plus tech. I would like to mention two takeaways here: managing with empathy, scale, and innovation. And second is advice to startup founders from my 2 weeks journey at Rural Shores. Don't scale blindly, scale with soul.
So
So you
you
worked with, you've seen startups in city-based startups. You worked with MNCs, and now you're working with rural. In your short duration or short interaction with rural youth and rural entrepreneurs, what's the big takeaway for you? How do you find them? I mean, what I'm trying to arrive at here is, क्या वो जोश उनमें उतना ही है जो what you see in other in youth in metros and other cities?
I would say Josh is super high in the rural major, and in fact, I visited one of the centers in Bagepalli very recently, and I could find the super high Josh of the people delivering high end services with super high energy, which for some reasons I have been missing for many years in tier one or some of the higher tier two cities. And they are all set for the next big disruption, which is inclusive innovation. So, what talking to them, what I feel is that when inclusion is built into innovation, Gen AI and digital literacy in rural India will lead towards Vision 2030, building rural centers of excellence aligned to India at 100 goals, and ESG, social impact, and the need for conscious capitalism.
We are
we
also
are.
part of the rural mission called Palle Sujana, which is based off Hyderabad, which is headed by Brigadier Ganesham. And whenever we travel with his team, basically there is a yatra that they do where you spend a couple of days with the in villages meeting the rural innovators. So one of the things that is striking is that many of these youth are working towards are building solutions which are localized. I mean, meaning for their local problems. What is your experience? I mean, in your experience, do you see there are youth who are also trying to think of solution which is for India or for the globe?
Question, because what is happening is, I mean, you've spoken about, I did have the opportunity to meet some of these youth when I was visiting one of our centers, that was Bagepalli. And what we find is that how we are combining rural shores to become the operational backbone for startups like these youths who can look to scale affordably and impactfully. Now, we are very simple in the process. We say that work with the product or service you have. Our approach is either you or we build the product, but and we help you deliver solutions with rural execution power. Another thing which I can very strongly talk about is workforce as a service. WAAS, WAS. I mean, new terminology. Maybe it just came to my mind. From rural India is a new model for lean startups. So the value of technology in making rural digital operation centers competitive is of utmost importance, combined with the skilling of rural youth for digital jobs and leveraging digital India initiatives for scale. So the social impact and the commercial sustainability can always go hand in hand. And of course, at Rural Shores, the recognition as an impact sourcing leader is one of the key references.
You
So,
know, when we talk about rural youth, not everyone, as we see in metros as well, not everyone, every graduate or even who's coming out of college or school is looking for starting his own business. Many of them want to get into a secured job or at least a job to start with. How does rural shore help in getting them connected to organization where they could find jobs or skill them to find jobs?
I mean, that's what I mentioned to you that from Rural Shore Skills Academy, we have not only skilled over 100,000 plus youth, uh, providing employment, indirect jobs, and impacting their families. I spoke about it briefly earlier, and we are very, very focused on that. And of course, uh, by upskilling the people, some of these are already working in our centers. As I said, we have north of 3,000 people across 14 centers, delivering high-end digital operations to the global clients. And these are the rural youth doing it with proud, making us proud, and making the world proud, and making the country proud.
Do these rural centers of rural shore act as employment centers, or these are the places, business centers, where you hire them and then give them as a service to clients?
Multiple pillars to what we do. The major one is skilling them and helping them find jobs. That's through Rural Shore Skills Academy. The other one is they join us, we train them in different models, different skills, and they deliver unique, skilled processes to our global clients. So there are multiple approaches and pillars we work upon. And trust me, I mean, I would encourage you and some of the other people on this call, the audience, to come and visit some of our centers and see for yourself.
definitely, we would love to do that. We have been
Doing,
doing
we have done this in in Tamil Nadu. We have done this in parts of Telangana, and we would love to do that. Come to some one of your centers, interact with the rural youth, because it is important that the message is taken forward. Because what it does is, one is it gives confidence to the youth that there are organizations that they can approach, and also probably it will encourage other social organizations to copy some of your model and roll out in other parts of India. And my interest always has been toward northeast, because that is kind of remote, and their youth are equally educated, English speaking, and they are looking for similar opportunities. So what is it for? I mean, how do you see it going forward next 5 years? What's your mission? What's your plan going forward as an organization?
Simple. Uh, I personally don't believe in any competition. I believe in collaboration. And with collaboration, we can do wonders. And you spoke about Northeast. We recently opened up a very new center in Garchuk, which is very close to Guwahati, and that is doing very, very well. So we have the presence in Northeast. As I said, we are across 9 states and 14 centers, and we are happy to collaborate with anyone who wants to come and work with us as a partner, as an extended uh, corporate, or in any form. In fact, let me use this platform to make an appeal to invite the startups listening to this session as an audience to collaborate with Rural Shores and support the mission of rural innovation as a mentor or a partner. Now, India's next tech revolution, you believe it or don't believe it, won't come from cities alone, Major. It will come from its villages. As our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji leads the country towards Viksit Bharat, he's also leading digital revolution, connecting not only cities but also villages, forests, and borders. You and I recently met in Mudanhalli, Major. So Sadhguru Shri Madhusudan Sai spearheads a unique global mission of service across 100 plus countries. Now I'm talking about global, not just India. And by the way, People Shores is one of the other companies which is founded by Murli Vulaganti alongside of Rural Shores in the US with the same mission. But we can talk about that in detail later on. But coming back to Sadhguru Shri Madhusudan Sai's mission of service across 100 plus countries focusing on healthcare, education, and nutrition. So that is the one world, one family mission with special focus on rural. And you heard that along with me, Major, recently in Mudanhalli. So this helps the ecosystem with the transformative potential of merging startup energy with rural inclusion and encourages all stakeholders, whether they're investors, founders, policymakers, and the youth, to actively support rural entrepreneurship and impact driven models like Rural Shores. So, genuinely, I encourage you all to connect with us, collaborate, and share resources to build a robust and inclusive startup ecosystem. And please adopt thought leadership not just within your niche, but by sharing learnings with the wider ecosystem. Collaborate, publish findings, and create room for co innovation. Empower people at every level to contribute ideas, experiments, and drive scalable change. I mean, there are a lot of founders on this call. I urge all of you and the professionals listening to us to focus on both strengths and weaknesses, build organizational frameworks for growth, adaptability, and resilience. And with your permission, Major, I've spoken in some of the other forums. Let me, re-emphasize the relevance of collaboration and connection in today's world and share tips on being real in the hybrid world because people are confused. I simply, as you know, I like acronyms. I will use the acronym IGNITE. So stay ignited. So when I say it is I, which is innovate, chat, email, video, Skype, in person, everything is available in rural. Explore and find newer ways to connect with people around. G is for growth. Invest time in building your relationships, connections, nurture so that these connections can be further mutually leveraged. N is for natural. Stay true to your own self. It is okay to get influenced, but don't let it override your conscience. Then coming to I, which is integrity, it always pays to be integral, transparent, and honest in your networks and connections. Apart from building positivity, it also helps us save our energies in sustaining lifelong bonds. T is for trust. Like I said before, trust is a crucial currency of the digital economy. It is all the more important that we develop faith in each other, capabilities to accomplish common goals and collaborate. And last but not the least, which is E, which is empathy and engage. So connecting with people regardless of the boundaries and limitations, religious, social, physical, or economical, also engage with them to achieve meaningful outcomes. So I would in simple words say that for the startup ecosystem, there's a big opportunity to land into the rural area. Please come. We are welcoming you with both hands. Come and work with us as a colleague. Come and work with us as a partner. Come and work with us as a trainer. Come and work with us as a collaborator. Come and work with us as a salesperson to take this model to the global world. All models are open. That is what I can say in simple words to sum up, Major.
No, definitely.
Collaboration is the only way forward, especially if our startup ecosystem has to be impactful and also if we want to take the returns from it right up to the last mile in across India. Viewers, we are in conversation with Tarun Singhal, who's the group CEO of Rural Shores. Tarunji, finally, before I let you go, My Startup TV or a My Startup Media House, we're a full stack media house with 5 verticals, web television, where we broadcast 25 by 7. Then we also have our digital monthly magazine, podcast, which we publish on Spotify. We have an OTT platform and a news portal. Basically, we have created this various platforms to showcase work like Rural Shore is doing, founders, thought leaders like you, because the mainstream media tends to ignore this. What are your thoughts about the kind of work we are doing?
The work what you are doing is absolutely awesome, and you are one common element which is a conduit between the startup ecosystem, irrespective of rural or non-rural, and the whole global world. And you are making sure that it succeeds. So you are a big enabler for all the startups in this country. And I said that before as well. Now, my only 2 cents to you is that if we would have, as you know, I told you we have 14 centers across the country. We are happy to collaborate with you. We are happy to have a mini major and the team in all our centers to help you do more, do better.
Definitely, we will definitely, explore that,
And
and
we are
we
also
are also
equally keen to be part of Rural Shore and take the message across. Thank you, Taranji. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you, Namaskar, and thank you to all the audience, and thank you to the team, My Startup. Keep doing great work and appreciate what you all do, and keep the Josh super high.
thank you,
For
viewers, for
joining
joining.
in. Do remember, from Monday to Saturday, we bring live show thought leaders like Tarun Singhalji and also founders from across startup ecosystem. Do join in tomorrow at same time. Thank you very much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.